Hey there, Angular folks, and welcome back. What if I told you that soon you'll be able to start using Angular signal forms inside an existing reactive form without rewriting the entire thing? No migration madness, no breaking half your app, no big bang refactor. In Angular 21.2 Next, we're getting a compatibility bridge called SignalFormControl. And in this video, I'll show you how it works, how to mix it into an existing form group, and what changes in the template. Let's check it out. In this example, we'll be working with this somewhat larger profile form. This form is currently built using the Reactive Forms module. We've got account information, a shipping address, and a preferences section. Let's add a name. Notice how the debug panel updates to reflect these changes in real time? That's just showing the raw form group value. Now, let's add a street address. And as soon as everything required is filled in, the form is valid, and the Submit button enables. So this is a standard Angular reactive form. Let's look at how it's built. Let's switch over to the TypeScript for this component. At the top here, we have our profile form interface. We're using reactive forms, form groups for the different sections, and then we're using form controls for each control. Then, if we scroll down, here we can see our form built using this interface. We have form groups for each of these sections. Then, within these sections, we have form controls for each field. The first name, last name, and street address fields are required, while the marketing opt-in field is not. So it's a little simpler. So that's what we have for our form configuration. Now let's look at the template. Right here, we can see we're using the form group directive to bind this form to our reactive form. This directive connects this DOM form to the form group instance. Then, on this div that contains the fields for the account section, we have the form group name directive for our account form group. Within this, we use the formControlName directive on the first and last name inputs. This directive wires the input to the form control. Below these fields, we have a template variable to store the control for reuse. Then, we use this variable to check if the control is touched and has errors, then display the error message to notify the user. This right here, classic reactive forms. Nothing new, nothing fancy, totally predictable. And we repeat the same pattern for the street field too. The preferences section is similar but simpler because we don't have any validation. Now here's the problem. This form is a little complicated, but let's pretend it's actually really massive. Tons of fields, nested groups, custom components everywhere, you name it. In this case, fully migrating to Signal Forms would be painful and not something we can feasibly take on at this point in time. But we want to start using Signal Forms moving forward. Until now, there hasn't been a clean way to mix them. But in Angular 21.2 Next, we get SignalFormControl for compatibility between the two APIs. This is essentially a wrapper that lets a signal-backed field behave like a reactive form control inside a form group. Now, let's imagine that we've been asked to add new fields to this form. So this is the perfect place to try it. We need to add 3 new fields to our shipping address section: city, state, and zip. But these new fields will be signal-backed this time. The first thing we need to do is update the form interface to add these new fields. So we'll add a city field, but instead of a form control this time, we'll use the new SignalFormControl class from the SignalFormsCompat API. Then we need to do the same thing for the state and zip fields. So now this group is mixing form controls and signal controls. That's the whole point of the bridge. Okay, now let's create these new signal-backed controls. Let's create a new read-only city property. Then we'll create the control with the SignalFormControl class. The first parameter is the initial value. In this case, it will be an empty string. The second parameter is the schema callback function that you'd be familiar with if you've been experimenting with Signal Forms at all. For these new fields, we need to make them required. So we'll use the new required function from the Signal Forms API. Then we'll pass it our schema, and then we just need to add the error message to display. Okay, that's all we need for this new city signal-based control. Now, let's add another for the state. This one will be basically the same, just with a different name and error message. All right, now let's add one more for the zip code field. This too will be very similar, but we're going to also add a pattern validator here to ensure that the address is 5 digits. Okay, now we have our signal-based form controls. All that's left is to add them to our form. This is pretty easy. We just add them to the shipping address group using these new properties. Notice something important here? We didn't change the form group type, we didn't change the submit handler, and we didn't convert anything to signals at the root level. But just like that, we've mixed signal-backed controls into a reactive form group without changing the form itself. Now we need to render these fields in our template. But we can't use FormControlName here because these aren't standard form control instances. They're signal-backed controls that expose a field tree. A field tree is the signal-based representation of this control's state, value, touched, errors, everything. So we need to use the formField directive from the Signal Forms API for these instead. So let's add it to the component imports array. Okay, now let's switch back over to the template. Inside this shipping address section, let's add a div container for these new fields. Then let's add a label. Now let's add a new text input. On this, we need to use the new formField directive to access the city field tree. This connects the input to the signal field control. Now we need to add the validation. Let's start by adding a template variable for the field tree. Then let's use this to check for touched state and errors. Then let's add a for block to iterate over errors and display error messages. That's it. That's all we need for this city control. Now let's copy this for the state field and update everything appropriately. And let's do the same for the zip code field too. All right, this is all we need now to intermingle signal form controls with reactive forms. Let's save and try it out. Nice. Now we have our new fields in the address section. We also have these new properties displaying within our form group object. Let's fill in the name again. And let's add a street address. Now let's add a city. And here's the cool part. The debug panel still reflects everything correctly. Angular still thinks this is a form group. But under the hood, this field is powered by signals. Now, let's clear out this field. There, a validation error shows, so our validation is working too. Now let's add back in a city, and let's add in a state too. Now, let's try an invalid zip. Yep, that validation is working correctly too. And once we fix it, the entire form is valid, and the submit button enables. And this form contains both reactive form controls and signal-backed signal form controls in the same group. So in this example, we did not rewrite the entire form, we did not replace the form group, we did not break the template bindings, and we didn't need to change the submit handler either. We incrementally adopted signal forms. If you're maintaining large reactive forms code bases, this is a huge unlock. This is the kind of feature that makes gradual migration possible instead of painful. If you're planning a signal form strategy for your app, this is where you start. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more deep dives into modern Angular features. And hey, if you want to help support the channel, check out the ShieldWorks gear linked below. It's built for Angular developers like you who take great pride in their work. All right, that's all for today. See ya in the next one.